The most popular compilation of sayings is probably the book of Proverbs in the Bible. Proverbs is full of a lot of great practical living advice. And one of the most popular of those sayings in the book of Proverbs is on display right now and causing a lot of problems. Spare the rod and spoil the child. Did you know that 3/4 of Americans spank their children at least once a year? Did you know that there's 19 states that still have corporal punishment in the school system, which results in about 200,000 students getting spankings at school from teachers every year? Did you know that the UN passed a resolution a number of years ago adding to the human rights violations, saying that corporal punishment to children is a violation of their basic human rights? So how's it feel to live in a country that doesn't accept the UN guidelines on human rights? So the reason we're talking about spanking and corporal punishment and spare the rod and spoil the child is because a professional football player got arrested this past week for spanking his 4-year-old son. Now you're probably sitting there thinking, what's the big deal? I got spanked and I turned out just fine. But he didn't just spank his son. He got a stick and he hit the boy multiple times, leaving red marks, bruises, cuts, all up and down his legs. The kid had to go to the doctor to get treated. So the problem here is that there's a lot of people defending him quoting this Bible verse, spare the rod and spoil the child. But what does that really mean? Does that mean that spoiled kids never got spanked? Does it mean that kids that got a spanking always turn out great? The author of Proverbs also says, train up a child in the way that he'll go, and he will not depart from it when he gets older. You put those two verses together and you're going to get a whole bunch of people trying to solve life's problems by beating some sense into each other. What I'm saying is this biblical philosophy about spare the rod and spoil the child is being abused. We've picked and chosen which verses we like, and we've thrown out other verses like an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. This is a good text with a much broader concept behind it than God giving permission to parents to spank their kids. I don't think this verse is there for us to have permission so that we can beat some sense into each other. I think it's talking about the broader concept of discipline. Discipline in the form of consequences for our actions. Spare a child the consequences of his actions and you'll spoil him. Think about how different the world would be if you didn't have to face the consequences of the decisions that you made on a day-to-day basis. Like so many concepts that started off with good intentions, especially biblical ones. Over time, those intentions wind up getting lost and twisted. We lose what the original author meant when they uttered those words the first time. And now, we wind up with a 250-pound professional football player using a weapon, a rod, to discipline his 4-year-old child. But does that really sound like a loving father trying to discipline his son? I'd love to hear your thoughts on the subject, so either add your comments below or hit us up on Twitter. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and if you want to join more conversations and see more topics about what we're talking about, check us out at theorganicministryproject.com.